Nice to be with you. How many of you are not in the level 2, no, COP? How many of you are not in the COP class? Okay, just checking, cool. Just checking. Nice to see you all. Welcome to A Taste of Being, which is kind of like if you think about it, if you lick your arm right now. No, that would be a taste of your body. Okay, let me. Welcome to A Taste of Being, turning up your energetic capacities. I'm just gonna take off my clothes. Hey, how you doing? Yep, that's right. That was not very ceremonious. How many of you are aware that you have energetic capacities? Yeah? Awesome. Cool. So then we'll just start turning them up. Okay, you're done. Bye. Go home. All right, see you later. See, welcome to my sense of humor. See, the thing is, it's like out there in the world, most people aren't even aware that there's anything such as an energetic capacity available. And yet, let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever had somebody who was having a really tough day and you gave them a hug and their day got better? Have you ever done that? Yeah, like all of us, right? Or you've had a tough day and somebody gave you a hug and your day got better? That right there is an energetic capacity that was being put in motion, that was being used. How does it work? Well, it's like, I'm having a bad day. I need some loving. I need some help. Please help me. And somebody's like, I can help you. And they do. And they show you that your day does not have to be as crappy as it once was. And all of a sudden, they change your reality. They change your outlook on life. They change your world for that day to something greater. That right there is an extremely simple example of using an energetic capacity. Okay? So everything that you have bought, any way in which you bought that you don't actually have energetic capacities, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. If you don't know what that means, there's this wonderful website called theclearingstatement.com. Please go there, check it out, watch the videos, listen to the audios, whatever. Because it's a really simple way of changing things. If you're brand new to Access Consciousness, it's sort of a fundamental part of what we use to, well, increase your energetic capacities. And also, it's like one of the things that I learned, because I came to Access Consciousness 16 years ago now, at a point in my life where I was literally going to kill myself if things did not change. I was struggling and suffering in every area of life you could imagine. I knew it could be different, and I was doing everything I could to try to change it. I was reading books, I was going to seminars, I was reading every self-help book known to man, woman, and child, and still I was waking up so depressed I just wanted to die. And I was living in Santa Barbara, which is the only place as beautiful as Paris. Okay, just saying. And waking up depressed and unhappy. And I remember looking around while I was driving to work in the morning, looking at the people on the freeway going, wow. I looked left and looked right and I was like, wow, why is everybody else seems so happy? What about me, you know? And I saw an ad in the paper and it said, Access, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. And of course I was excited and joyful because somebody was talking about ease and joy. And no, I wanted to kill the lady. And so I threw the paper away, but it came out the following week and I saw the same ad, Access, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. And I was like, I want to kill you. Die, woman, die. Except I learned long before that if you love something or hate it, there's something there for you. And I called her and I said, what do you do? I was more like, what do you do? And she said, oh, we do all kinds of stuff. We change stuff. I'm like, seriously? Okay, what are you going to do for me? She said, well, we could start with this thing called the bars. And basically, there's these 32 points on your head, and when somebody touches them and holds them really lightly, it's like at the worst, you feel like you had a good massage, and at the best, your whole life can change. And I was like, whoa. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, my whole life better change or I'm killing myself. What do I have to lose, right? I go and I lay down on a table very much like this one. It was my own table. I lie down. Woman I have never met puts hands on my head. And all of a sudden, in my world, I'm going, because there's an energy that runs through my body that feels like liquid peace and love and the end of judgment in my world. And I was like, and after a few minutes, she changes her hands to someplace else and then someplace else and someplace else. And all I remember is giggling like a little kid. I was like, and every time she would move her hands, I would giggle more. And I got up an hour and 15 minutes later going, and I literally remember looking around my office, which is where we did this session, my chiropractic office. Very important, I'm a doctor, hello. I remember looking around my office going, wow, it's amazing. I remember going outside and looking up at the sky going, has it always been this beautiful? And I just never noticed. Apparently it had, but I wasn't really there for it. See, one of the greatest gifts you can give anybody in this world that lives here with us is the awareness of how beautiful life can be. The awareness that it doesn't have to be about just pain and suffering and yuck. The awareness that it doesn't have to be about whatever they're judging themselves for at the moment. And the gift that things can be different and better. One of the greatest gifts you can give anybody is the awareness that things can be different than they are right now and better than they are right now. Everything that doesn't allow you to know that inherently you offer people that gift with your very being, with who you are already. Will you please destroy and then create all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to end my life at the time was because I didn't see that I was a gift to anybody. I didn't see that my life was made better by I didn't see that life was easy for me to say in English. Let me translate. Hold on. Maybe I'll try French. Maybe I won't. Okay, all right. I did not see anybody else's life being made better by my presence at the time because everything that I was living with was crowded in judgment. That's a seriously unhappy place to live. And I would wish that for none of you. But I would also say that if you're living with that, even for a little bit, it can be changed. If somebody you know is living with that, even for a little bit, it can be changed. That's not where we have to live anymore, okay? Those days are, if you choose it, if it makes sense to you, if it feels light to you, because what's true for you always makes you feel lighter, but if you choose it and if it feels light to you, that can be changed, okay? You may go through some heavy moments, you may go through some heavy hours or some heavy days, but you don't have to live that way anymore. That living in the heaviness of life can change. And so after having this hour that basically changed my life, I was like, I don't know what that is, but I want more of that. And so I started doing it and I started using it and I found that my life started getting lighter and 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 lighter. And after a very short amount of time, I met the founder of Access Consciousness and we started working together. And I started contributing my awareness to developing different tools other than the ones that were already in the Access Toolbox to create change for people. And I started seeing change occur faster and faster and faster for everybody that we worked with. And I was like, oh my God, I've always wanted to do this. This is awesome. Well, fast forward to, I think, 2013, something like that. I wrote a book with a really good friend of mine, my communications coordinator, Katarina. We wrote this book called Being You, Changing the World. And within weeks of this book coming out, I started getting emails from people saying, thank you, I was where you were. And I realized I don't have to be there anymore. This book has changed my world. This book has changed my life and my awareness of what's possible. And I looked at that and I went, wow, you know what? That's really cool, because 13 years before that, 14 years before that, I was in such a place I didn't believe I had any value to contribute anything to anyone. And here I have people sending me emails saying, your book has literally saved my life. I had a guy come up to me today and say, because there's a chapter in the book on abuse, on a different perspective on abuse. And he came up and he said, I just want to say thank you. That chapter and what you wrote in there has actually changed my entire perspective on abuse and has set me free. I know I'm not wrong for having experienced it. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. He said, not only that, but I have a really good friend, and I talked to him about what's in there, and now he's no longer wrong for the abuse he experienced either. So you got two of us with one book. I was like, yes, that's awesome. Now, why do I tell you this? Because you should buy the book. Hello? No, actually, that wasn't why I was telling you that. But buy the book. No. The reason I'm telling you that is because there are ways that you have of contributing to people that you can't even dream of right now. And when you allow that to be there, especially if you're one of those people who's been judged your whole life for being weird, for being different, for being out there, for being too much, there are ways you have of contributing to people that will change their worlds. Please don't make yourself wrong. Everything you've done to make yourself wrong, for the inherent, amazing, phenomenal, energetic capacities that you have, and the desire you have to contribute to other people in their lives, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Yes. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. I mean, really, we should probably start with everything you've done to make you wrong, period. For anything. Because you got to get you functioning from the wrongness of you and judging you. Does that help anybody? No, never. It never helps anybody when you judge you, least of all you. It takes you away from all the people you can contribute to, takes you out of being the gift that you can be for everybody around you, and it makes it so that you're kind of not very much fun to be around. I'm just saying, okay? Everything that is times a gazillion. We're destroying creative, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So, now here's an interesting thing, is lots of times there are people who've been in Access for many years, or many months, or whatever it is, and they get an awareness of a place they've been judging themselves, and they let it go, and it still changes their whole life. So what is the one judgment of you that you've been holding on to and not letting go of, that if you let it go would change your entire world for the greater? Everything that is times a gazillion. Will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. What is the one judgment of you that you've been holding on to and not letting go of, that if you let it go would change your whole world for the greater? Everything that is times a gazillion. Will you destroy and create it, please? Yes. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. What is the one judgment you have of you that you've been holding on to and not letting go of, that if you let it go would change your world for the greater? Everything that is times a gazillion. Will you destroy and create it, please? Yes. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Whew. Okay, bye-bye. See you later. My goodness. One more time. So what is the one judgment of you that you've been holding on to, that if you let it go would change your world for the greater? Everything that is times a gazillion. Will you destroy and create it, please? Yes. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Hi, everybody online. Nice to see you. Okay. And what do you know that you've been pretending not to know or denying that you know? That if you allowed yourself to know it, would make the world your oyster with a pearl and a diamond and a gold mine and a jet ski. Thank you for adding the jet ski. Everything that is, times of God saying, we destroy and uncreate it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, bod and buck, all nine, church, boys, and beyonds. What is it you know that you've been pretending not to know or denying that you know? That if you allowed yourself to know, it would make the world your oyster. Do you have that saying in French and other languages, to make the world your oyster? Which is kind of weird now that I think about it. But since we say it in English all the time, I think, oh, make the world your oyster, and you're like, you know, and then you think about an oyster and you're like, maybe that's not my best choice, you know, but anyway, everything that is times a godzillion. Will you destroy it and grade it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, bod and buck, all nine, shorts, boys, men. Because let's face it, if an oyster does not have a pearl in it, other than one good mouthful of yumminess, it really doesn't have much going on. All right, let's just say, okay. What is it you know that you've been pretending not to know or denying that you know? That if you allowed yourself to know it, would open up the world to everything you know is possible. Everything that is and everything you've done to deny your knowing, will you destroy it and uncreate it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay, so we titled tonight, Turning Up Your Energetic Capacities. The heck does that mean? Well, how many of you do, let me ask you a question. How many of you have families? Families? Oh my God, me too. That's awesome. Okay. Okay. My people. I found my people. Awesome. Okay. How many of you have jobs or things that you do for a living? Okay, cool. Right. How many of you live on the planet and there are other people where you live? Okay, cool. All right, just checking. I just want to make sure, okay? If you're one of those people that I just mentioned, having energetic capacities and turning them up will make your life a lot easier, okay? Whew. Now, how many of you do something like energy work? Right. Let me point one other thing out. If you have a family, are on a planet with people on it, like I am, okay? Even though sometimes I wish I were on a planet with no people on it, okay? Don't get me wrong, I'm there with you, okay? Or if you like have a job or something or work with people, turning up your energetic capacities will contribute to you, okay? And it's something that will benefit you. Why? Because when you turn up your energetic capacities, you turn up your awareness. You also turn up your capacities to create change. Now, could you get a brighter flash next time? No, I'm good. How many of you can heal blindness? Raise your... Mommy, are you there? How you doing? She's part of our new media committee. Okay, anyway, so see what happens is every interaction that we have is energetic. How many of you ever walked into a room and noticed that people were unhappy there before you even put your foot into the room? You ever had that? Yeah. You ever gone into a business meeting or something where you're like, ah! Ah! And you don't even know what's going on. You just know, ah! That's your energetic awareness. See, that's an energetic capacity that you have. If you'll allow yourself to start having the energetic awareness and capacities you have, you'll then be able to change situations that you couldn't change otherwise. Does that make sense? So if you've ever been in a situation where there was that, where you go in and it's like, ah! And there are these people, well, if you are aware that you can shift the energy of things, you don't avoid the situation, or you don't go in and go, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 you know? And you don't sit there like, the whole time, hoping something will change. What you do is you walk in and you sit down and you go, okay, what is it going to take to change this situation? Does that make sense? Totally different way of being in the world. Now, if you were to be that way in every interaction you have with everyone, would that change your world? Yes or no? Yes. Yeah, right? So, what I would like is for those of you that actually desire something greater for the people around you, for the planet, for all of us, to be willing to walk into any situation where it's required, be there and go, what can I do to change this for the greater? Does that make sense? Now, I've known of people who have personally lost family fortunes when their parents died because they were not willing to be aware of the energies that were coming their way. They wanted to avoid them, and they're like, no, I can't do anything about it. And so what happened? The energy of you're not getting any inheritance came their way and washed over them, and they got nothing. And the other kids got a lot because they were willing to be there avariciously trying to create that result. Now, how many of you have decided that if you get what you want, you're being avaricious? I don't know the translation for that. Cutthroat.
Egoistic.
Aggressive.
Egoistic.
Egotistical. Yeah. Aggressive, egotistical. It's only for you. Stabbing others in the back. How many of you have decided that if you get what you want, that that's what is going on? Everything that is, and everywhere you're not willing to be egotistical and actually get what you want, because somewhere, now you wouldn't have, blah, 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 sorry. Blah, 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 blah. Everywhere you're not willing to be egotistical. And the thing is, you would not believe that you could be egotistical unless you already had the judgment that you were egotistical. Does that make sense? It's statistical. You already believe you're egotistical. If you had testicles, you could be testically egotistical, but I think I'm going off topic. Everything that is, we destroyed and created a place. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyond. Just take a trip through my brain for a minute, all right? Okay. Okay. So we have energetic capacities that are our capacity to change a situation. But if we choose to apply it, we can change what goes on in people's bodies. We can change disease processes. We can change depression. We can change somebody's sense of wrongness. We can change somebody's sense that they can't do something. It's like, it's amazing what we can change if we get over the idea that we can't. Because right now, the biggest thing stopping you from having and creating everything you desire in your life is the point of view that you can't. What? What do you mean, Dr. Dane? Tell me. Well, it's like this. Your point of view creates your reality. Okay? So the idea that the point of view that you can't do it, if you have the point of view that you can't do it, that you can't have what you would like in life, that you can't change everything that creates that, you will create not having it and not changing it. Does that make sense? So how many points of view have you bought that you don't have the energetic capacity to change the world around you? Everything that is, times a godzillion. We destroyed and created, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Wow, that was cool. And then it got quiet. Wouldn't that be weird? If when you were truly being conscious, it sounded like one of those TV sets, you know, when it's going weird and you're like, oh my God, it's happening. See? That's what I'm talking about. That's weird. Okay. So how many points of view do you have? How many points of view have you bought that you truly cannot have and create a change in the world and create everything you desire to have in the world? Everything that is, times a gazillion. We destroy and create it, please. Yes. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyond. Okay, so part of turning up your energetic capacities is getting to the awareness that there's something that you are, something that you be, that has a capacity to interact with the world around us and create change. It's kind of really simple. Okay, and that example that I gave you before of if you've ever given somebody a hug and changed their life or changed their world, that's just one tiny example of it. Now, imagine being able to perceive energy so dynamically that you could create any change you wanted to, whether it was in business, whether it was in your relationships, whether it was in somebody's body, whether it was in any area of life. So, think about it for a moment right now. What is one change you would like to have occur? I know. Exactly. Only one for now. Okay? What is one change you'd like to have occur? I'll take a couple. Yes? Money. Meaning you want to give all your money to someone? Change your financial situation. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Cool. Certainty. Like to have certainty about your awareness about what? My job, my way, my life, everything. I'd like certainty on everything. Good luck. See, because the way it works in consciousness is you have a certainty in knowing that this is where you'd like to go. But you also have a total ease in not going there like this, but going there like that. Does that make sense? Everything you've done to not allow for the path to go wherever it must, thinking somehow I must go this way and I'm going to get there in a straight line. If you're truly functioning from consciousness, which is where the universe can gift you everything, things will show up for you as if by magic that take you from here, over to here, over to here. So everything you've done to believe there's some straight line and you're not on the straight line to get to where you want to go, will you destroy it and create it, please? Times a gazillion, right? Wrong, about all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So you can have a certainty in your awareness of this is where I'm going, but let the universe gift you the awareness of how to get there. Cool? See, what happens for most of us, if I desire something, like for me, one of my targets is to create a truly conscious populace on our planet. Okay? Why do I say populace? Because nobody knows what it means in foreign countries. And the translators have a really tough time. That's why. So it's fun. No. Why do I say that? Because what I'm looking for is like a truly conscious functioning planet. A planet that functions from consciousness. Well, the planet already does. It's the stupid people that don't. Okay? But my target would truly be to create a planet where all of us function from consciousness as our primary source of everything that we choose. So I have a really big target. Really big target, okay? I have a certainty in that, which allows me to work all the time. I travel 3.5 weeks out of the month. You know, I work basically 28 days a week, at least 12 hours a day. Love it. Am very grateful for it, but it is part of the certainty that I have because let's put it this way, okay? I'm not willing to let the planet die without me doing every damn thing I can to create it so that we can make enough change here so that we can have a sustainable living planet. Okay? So that's my target personally. So I have a certainty in that, right? And will it succeed? I don't know, but I am going to do every damn thing I can to ensure that there's this possibility, because what I see is consciousness is the only thing that will truly create a change on this planet big enough to where we will have a planet that will sustain life. Because the way we are consuming, the way we are polluting, the way we are judging, the way we are separating from each other, the way we are killing possibilities at every turn is destroying our planet's ability to sustain life. I figure we got 12 years left. But it's been 12 years for the past 4 years, so we're getting somewhere. Okay. There's a certainty in that, but how that happens, man, there are changes in the course all the time. So would you be willing to have your course change continuously? Rather than buy the lie that you have to take one step and this one and this one and this one. Yes? Times a gazillion, right? Wrong about all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Everything you've done to make yourself wrong, because your course continuously changes, will you just run it great, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Because truly what happens is if you let the universe lead you to these energetic capacities you have, your course will go change all the time. Okay? So what else? What do we ask? One thing you want to change. Money? Certainty? What else? Yes?
More people in the classes, you know? I want more people in the classes, more people to find me.
I'd like more...
To expand in everything I do. Everything I do for consciousness, including my shows, because I'm an actress as well. To just... You know, and the money will be in the outcome, but I just want to be in the next level.
I'd like to be at the next level. I'd like more people in my classes, more people coming in my shows, and everything I do for consciousness. Now, she said the money will be in the outcome. No, the money will be in your request, and if it's not in your request, it will never be in your outcome.
It's in my request.
It better be now. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Because you got to get this, guys. It's like, if you don't ask for the money, it will not show up. You've heard of ask and you shall receive? That's one of the truths in the Bible, ask and you shall receive. But the thing is, they put it in the Bible and hid it in there so none of the rest of you would believe it. But it is the way the universe worked. Ask and you shall receive. So everywhere you haven't been willing to ask for the money, especially if you're European, you know, because you don't want to be one of those arrogant, money-grubbing Americans. Will you just try to create a place? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine, shorts, boys, you're like, I have the joie de vivre, I do not need the money too. Why would you not have the joie and the money? You see what I'm saying? Joie, money, woo! Everything that doesn't allow that, times the God's like, just try to create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Your joie and your money could have sex. You could have little monies and little joie. Joie, joie. Anyway, what else? Sex. Joy. Joy. Relationship. Wow. That's cool. She said joy, she said relationship. I see joie and money getting together, but joie and relationship, I don't know. Everything that brought up. Right, wrong, good, bad, fun, buckle, nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Could you imagine having joie and relationship? Wouldn't that be awesome? Good luck. Let me know when you create that and come back. Come back and tell me what it took. Everything that is times I got to tell you. Wait, just try to create it, please. Right, wrong, good, bad, fun, buckle, nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. What? What? What did you say? Magic. Magic. I like it. Can you imagine if things started showing up as if by magic, like when you asked, they started showing up? Yeah. How friggin' cool would that be? So all the points of view that you have, that it can't be that way. Because then you're a dreamer and you're not practical. And the way to create things is by being more practical. Except little kids create most of what they want, don't they? Yeah. And usually you're like, yeah, they get it from me, you know. Yeah. But don't they find a way to get whatever they want, even if it's not from their parents? Why? Because they don't believe that they shouldn't have it. Their point of view is, I want it, I should have it. Everything that doesn't allow you to have that point of view, and to be the magic it takes to get it, will you just run and create it, please? Times a gazillion, right? Rung about 09, Pod Poc Shorts, boys and beyonds. Cool. What else? Anything else? There are probably a few, like 100,000.
More business.
More business. More business. Yes.
Freedom.
Freedom. Freedom from what? From fears. Oh, you sweet little dear. You don't actually have any fear.
Got plenty of. It's here in my throat.
I know, isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, I love it. It's from 3 weeks now, and I talked to Gary, but it's still here.
You've had fear for 3 weeks. How old are you?
No, well, 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
You're 3 months old. You've had 3 weeks of fear. Okay, I got it. Sweetness.
No, these fears are here since I'm 3 months.
It's here, right? It's here. Therefore, I know it's fear because it's here. This is where I keep fear.
Yeah.
How many of you have a storage place for fear? It's like a little inside kangaroo pouch.
Yeah.
That you keep your little fear babies. And then you go to talk, you're like, I can't. I have fear. So, everything that is, times a gazillion, we destroy and create a place.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, and puck, all nine, church, boys, and girls. Okay, how many of you have the idea, the point of view that you actually have fear? Yes? You're like, I'm not raising my hand. He's going to skewer me. You were correct. No. Would you like me to prove to you that you don't actually have fear?
Yes.
Wish me luck. I'm in France. Okay. All right. Wait, let me consult with my guru for a moment to see if I can get away with this in France. Hold on. Let me. Dear God, I have a. No, just kidding. Gary, help! Help, Gary! Help! Okay. Let's try this on for size, okay? It works in the rest of the world, but maybe not here. But I have no fear, so I'm going to try it. Okay. What happens to you in a true emergency situation? In a true emergency, do you fall apart?
No fear.
Or do you get calm, cool, and collected and handle the situation?
Yeah.
First or second? Fall apart or handle it? Right. You know what? And then you fall apart later to prove that you were indeed fearful. Okay, if you don't fall apart in an emergency, guess what? You don't truly have fear. You ever notice when you're in an emergency and things sort of slow down around you and become spacious, and they're like, ooh, like you're in the Matrix, you know, and you're Neo, and you're like, ooh. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's because you don't truly have fear. And it's the one time you'll allow your capacities to actually show up. It's the one time you'll allow yourself to go, I'm here, with no fear. Okay, they're coming to take me away. Apparently they... I shouldn't have talked about that in Paris. Okay. Okay. Now, why am I saying this? Because if you've bought the lie that you have fear and it's running your life, it's a lie. Can you imagine letting that one lie go? I mean, if you've been functioning from it at all in any way, if you let that go, can you imagine how much your life would change? Now, fear used to run my life 16 years ago. I was in my little chiropractic office in Santa Barbara. I was starting my second practice. And the only thing I could think of to get patients was to call people on the phone. And usually what I was doing was I would call other practitioners. Everywhere from massage therapists to Reiki to lymphatic therapists to colon people to, and the colon people kind of scared me, I got to tell you. But anyway, and so what would happen is I had this list of people that I wanted to call, and I would go to call and I would pick up the phone and I would literally start shaking with fear. I was terrified to call somebody I didn't know and basically say, hey, do you have any people that we could meet? You know, and I'd put down the phone and I would shake and then I would start crying. And with the tools I had at the time, this was pre-access, with the tools I had at the time, it took me an hour before I could get over it most of the time. And finally, an hour later, I would pick up the friggin' phone again and make the friggin' phone call. Oh my God, talk about somebody whose life was run by fear at the time. Now, and at the same time, I'm going, oh my God, I've got to make this phone call because otherwise this practice will fail and I will not eat and I will blah, 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 all blah, 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 blah. You know what fear really is? Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 okay? Now, we found several things that it actually is that make it look real and you can change them really fast. But, so what happens is, if you don't fall apart in an emergency, it's a lie that you have fear. So all the lies you bought that you actually have fear, everything you've done to let it control you, like I used to let it control me, and everywhere because you have a certain sensation in your body, or a closing down of your throat, or a ah, and usually what you have is a ah. Do you know what I'm talking about? Huh? Notice I didn't even have to translate that, did I? Everything that is. Everywhere you've misidentified and misapplied that you have fear, will you destroy it and create it, please? Times a godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay? Because what happens is usually when you get to the point where you're really excited about something, you go, oh my God, I'm afraid. Okay? Yeah, there's all this energy. And you go, ah! It's a way of stopping yourself from moving forward with too much ease, with too much energy. Everything that is times a godzillion. Will you destroy and create it, please? Yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. One of the other things that fear is something called a distractor implant. What? A distractor implant. Anger, rage, fury, and hate. Blame, shame, regret, and guilt. Fear, doubt, love, hate are all these things called distractor implants. They're designed to distract you from moving forward in your life. How many distractor implants of fear do you have that you've locked into your body and locked into your life, making you think you are afraid and making you think you don't have the energetic capacities that you do? Everything that is times a godzillion. Will you destroy and create it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. How's that thing in your throat doing?
Lighter.
Lighter? Cool. Okay, and the thing is, what happens is, and that may be a start, there may be more there, but usually when the energy seems like too much for us, the way we control it ourselves is by going, oh, I'm afraid of this. If you didn't have to turn down the energy when it seemed like too much, what do you think you might create? What do you think you might accomplish? What do you think you might be able to change or receive? Because if anything seems like too much for you, you go, no, I'm afraid, you reject it, right? Well, if 10 million euros arrived in your account tomorrow unexpectedly, would that seem like a lot of energy? Hell yeah, right? Imagine you go on your phone and you're like, okay, how's it? Ah! Ah! Oh my God, I'm afraid, I can't do it. You know? But that's the way it happens. Whenever it's too much energy, so what we do is we've learned to create our lives and control them into this tiny little box. So that nothing is ever too much, because otherwise I feel afraid. Or otherwise I feel like, oh my God, I'm getting out of control. How many of you are afraid of being out of control? Uh-huh, exactly. What would happen if you were out of control, out of definition, out of limitation, out of form, structure, and significance, out of linearity, and out of concentricities? Yes. Everything that doesn't allow that times a godzillion, will you destroy and create it, please? Yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. How many of you have spent your entire life controlling pretty much everyone and everything, including you? Isn't that awesome? Isn't that great? You know, really, you should be English, okay? I mean, have you been there? You know, stiff upper lip and all that, you know. Yes, darling. Anyway, what would happen? Everything that brought up. Will you destroy it creative, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD and POC, all nine, shirts, boys and girls. I thought it was like the French and all the other European countries that are like, yes, we are alive, we have the joie de vivre. The Italians, ay, che cazzo vuoi? You know, like, hey, what the hell's going on over there? You know, the Italians. And here you are controlling everything, trying to pretend you're not you. So what would happen if you were out of control, out of definition, out of limitation, out of form, structure, significance, out of linearity, and out of concentricities, just for the friggin' fun of it? Everything that doesn't allow that times a godzillion way destroyed and created, please. Yes. Right, wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. What are the infinite possibilities for being out of control? Out of definition, out of limitation, out of form, structure, significance, out of linearity, and out of concentricities. Everything that doesn't allow it, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Yes. Right, wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. One more time. What are the infinite possibilities for being out of control? Oh, actually, what energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be to be out of control, out of definition, out of limitation, out of form, structure, significance, out of linearity, and out of concentricities? Everything that is, everything that doesn't allow it, will you destroy and create it, please? Yes. Times a gazillion, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. If you wanted to change your energetic capacities, that would be one process I would recommend that you take home and run basically all day and all night for the next 1,200 years or something, you know, something like that. Because what happens is you have these capacities to change things around people, in your body. You have these capacities to change when you're unhappy, when somebody else is. You have the capacities to change your money situation, your job situation, your relationship situation, your level of happiness. You have the capacity to change it all, and you are too busy trying to control you to prove that you don't have that capacity. Stop it! It's not your best move, not your smartest choice. It's kind of like in the United States, like electing Donald Trump. Hello. All right. Everything that is times a godzillion, we just started great, please. Right, wrong, good, bad, POD and POC, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. It's funny. I love having that conversation elsewhere in the world. You know, Gary and I have said if he gets elected, we are moving to Australia. Unless France will have us, and then maybe, you know, maybe we'll. But it's like, because, anyway, we don't need to go there. That would just be a conversation and blah, blah, blah. So what would happen if you were out of control, out of definition, out of limitation, out of form, structure, significance, out of linearity, and out of concentricities? Everything that doesn't allow it times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Yes. Right, wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay. One of the things I would like to introduce to you, show you, help you turn up, is actually capacities with the energy that you have in your hands. Okay? Whoa. Okay, so one thing I'm going to ask you to do right now is, especially, you know, if you have a sleeve, you can pull it up. But what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to run your hand really slowly over your arm and pull energy like from your arm through your hand. And see if you can feel the connection energetically, and almost like where you can almost feel the hairs on your arm rising up to meet you. Or you may feel warmth in the arm or in your hand. Okay, so one more time. Okay, let's start down here and do it right over your hand. And notice if you can sort of feel it, feel your hands, this hand, start tingling. Now there's no right way or wrong way. Okay, so right now I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and do this, please. Because when you close your eyes, usually it's your experience with you, and that's cool. Ah, it's already turned up. Ah, I like it. Cool. So you're going to just run your hand over your arm really, really slowly. Feeling if there's like chills or if you can feel those little hairs stand up. Feel a little bit of heat. Okay, cool. So that's a start. Okay, you can open your eyes. Wow, that was interesting. Doing that sort of, do you notice how it emptied your brain? You did that and you're like, hi. That's awesome. I'm going to start every class this way. I'm going to be like, do this, and people will be like, okay. Because it's interesting, if you are just really present with both of your appendages here, if you're really present with it, all of a sudden it's like you stop thinking. Now that I pointed that out, you're going to start thinking it again, of course. But I did want to point that out to you because it was a very interesting thing to have your brain kind of go, ah. This is what happens when you start tapping into some of the energetic capacities you have with bodies, as an example. Okay, so I am sort of making this transition to the body thing right now, but because there's not one of us that doesn't have some energetic capacities with bodies. Not one of us that doesn't have some energetic capacity with bodies, which is interesting because you're like, me? Oh my God, really? Me? You? Yeah. Even the afraid ones. I am going to, I'm going to find a victim. I mean, a lucky person. Whew. And do a little something.
I'm here.
Thank you very much.
I came from
You're like,
I donated $500 to do it back then.
oh wow, that was awesome. Unfortunately, I don't really choose them. I just wait for the one that goes pop. Alrighty then. Maybe that's not the way I'll do it. Okay. Maybe I will do it a slightly different way then. Okay. Let's see. How many of you are willing to work with each other? Yeah? Okay, cool. Okay. So would you want to do one thing really quick? Danielle, would you come up for a sec, please? Do you have a microphone, please? Thank you very much. Muchísimas gracias. Hello, my dear. How you doing?
I'm good.
Oh, good. Have a seat. This will be quick. Can we have a quickie together in front of everybody?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, the way I usually start every session is if you could have anything out of this, what would it be? So I'll try this, but we may go somewhere slightly different, but we'll try. If you could have anything out of this, what would it be?
Be willing to be too much, always.
Okay, be willing to be too much always, which is kind of like the out of control, out of definition, out of limitation. And what happens is, when you've been told you're too much your whole life, you keep yourself back continuously, right? Okay, so this is what she's asking for. So face down, please.
Boots up.
Yes, please. Boots, skirt, you know, just whatever you want. I mean, casually, you know. Okay, now what happens is, see, what happens is, what I'm doing is I'm turning this up instantly, right? I'm not starting it slow and moving to fast. I'm like, okay, fast. Okay, but part of the reason I'm doing that is because I'm looking to open up something in your energetic field. I hate that shit. Those words, like, woo, it's your energetic field. No, I'm looking to like turn on your switch, man, you know? Okay, and it's interesting. So what happens is the way I choose the person, if I'm gonna work on somebody on the table in a class, is I wait for the person to pop. The person that the universe goes, that one, and they go, and so what's our conversation about? Being out of control, out of definition, out of limitation, right? And what am I looking to do with you? Getting you to the place where you're willing to actually have the energy your body can have available that nobody's ever shown you. And what did she ask for? I'd like to be out of control. I basically would like to be beyond limiting myself all the time. Now, part of the reason I'm using her is to get to you, okay? Because if you can have just even an inkling, if this energy flies by you and you take a tiny bit of it, it will start opening up your world in a way that you didn't realize was possible before. Flip over, please. Okay. The skirt is still on. What do you, no, sir. Okay, so what happens is it will open up. This probably won't stay on, but oh well, there. Okay, it'll open up something that'll start cracking open something in your world, in your body's world, okay? Now, when I first started doing sessions, I was really surprised because I was standing way over here and people would do that. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening? This is awesome. Now I've got a lot more of a sense of it, of course, after doing it for a lot of years. But basically what happens is there's not one of us that doesn't have energetic capacities. There's not one of us that has not suppressed the shit out of those frigging capacities since we were a little kid. Because when you were a little kid and you were psychic enough to know what was going on with mom and dad, they were like, oh, you can't know that. When you were a little kid and you went to hug somebody and it felt like they were electrified, they were like, oh my God, you little terror. Well, so we've had all kinds of reasons to turn down our energetic capacities. And what I'm doing or trying to do with this is show you in your body again what it was like in case you'd like to choose some part of it, okay? And with her willingness to go, yep, you know what, I'll let it go. I have no idea about anything, but yes, please, thank you very much. Okay. So there's this willingness to go, yeah, I'd like to be that, thank you. Note to self. Rubbing tummy and upper thighs creates good result. Okay. Okay, do me a favor, lower all of your barriers, please. Everything that sort of separates you from this session, if you just like lower them and realize, see, we're all interconnected, right? It's the reason why when you walk into a room and everybody there is like, and you can feel it before you go in the room, it's because you're interconnected. What I'm looking to do is actually use this for us rather than against us, okay? So that what can happen is you can actually open up to a little bit more of that tingly energy that is in the universe. Because it's interesting that science tells us there's enough free energy. There's enough energy actually available in the mitochondria of your body to power your body for the next 500 years, whether you never ate another piece of food or not. Okay? And then in physics, they tell us, far in physics, They tell us that there's enough energy within the matter of an atom to power the entire universe forever. What? What the fuck? You know what I mean? It's like, on the one hand you go, what? On the other hand you go, yeah, of course. Somehow it makes sense, right? Well, we're tapping into some of those unknown, little known laws of physics as it will become one day eventually, probably, maybe, who knows? Okay, and we're actually going, inviting the possibility that there's something different and greater available and possible, okay? So for her, it's like when her body gets that energy, it goes, but at the same time, what I'm doing, because her body's willing to have some of it, I'm like, here's a body who's willing to have some, your body can have some too if you're willing. Does that make sense? How many of you don't want to catch what she has? How many of you would really like to have what she's having? You know, like when Harry met Sally, you know, that I'll have what she's having, you know? See, it's sort of a similar thing if you'll allow yourself to, but all you have to do is go, okay, you know what? I may not even understand it. Excuse me. I'm going to push down the walls and barriers that keep me separate from it, though. Okay? And so right now, close your eyes, everybody, please. Oh, let us sing a hymnal to sweet baby Jesus together. Oh no, sorry, that's something else. Okay. So with your eyes closed, just for a moment, as you push down those walls and barriers again, notice anywhere that your body is being affected by this. Okay? Just notice anywhere. Anything. It may be a lightness, it may be a heaviness, it may be a pain, it may be a getting rid of pain, it may be a chill or a sensation, maybe a breeze somewhere, something. Okay, now what I'm going to ask you to do is take somewhere where there's a pain in your body or a stiffness or something that hasn't yet resolved or changed that you really have been asking for change on. And I'm going to ask you to lower the walls and barriers around that particular thing and around that area. Because what happens when something hurts, we put walls around it so no energy can get into it because we don't want the energy of it to be getting to us, causing us pain. So if you dissolve the walls around that, and you do it by asking, and now let this energy in, whatever it is. The energy that I'm sharing with her body and your bodies. I mean, why not? What do you have to lose? Not like your family's going to think you're any weirder. I mean, wouldn't worry about that too much. Now, wouldn't it be interesting if there was some energy or some consciousness that is available with us all that would contribute to shifting that for your body? Even if it changes only 10%, damn, that's cool. You sat here and got a 10% change. Okay. Okay. Just gonna do that for just another moment. And go ahead and keep your eyes closed for just another moment. And I'm going to ask you this question. What is it you've been refusing to leave behind that holds this in place? That if you left behind would allow it to change? Everything that is times a gazillion, right? Wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay, whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Them. I'm talking to them. I'm using you to get to them. Nanny, nanny, nanny. Okay. And does anybody notice any shift in whatever you were having go on? Okay. Some of you are noticing some shift. Okay, cool. Now, if you're not, that's okay too. I got to tell you, when before starting Access, I used to sit in rooms, my girlfriends, oh my God, they would always drag me to these metaphysical things. And they'd be like, come on, we're going to go do a guided visualization. And I was like, fuck, another one of those fucking things? Jesus Christ. And I would sit there and they would go, okay, now imagine yourself surrounded by purple light. And then there's a mist and then things are opening and and I'd sit there going, I don't get any of this crap. Okay? So if you're sitting here going, I don't get any of this crap, I totally understand if that's the case, okay? And please don't feel wrong. It's not a problem. I just want you to know you're not alone. Totally understand. But there is sometimes when somebody does something where you can actually get a change that surprises you, if you'll allow that to happen. Okay? Cool. Okay. And for those of you who think I have a little electric mat under the table, I don't, because it broke. I had this brilliant idea of making a video of all the things I pack for a trip, for a class. The electric mat for the thing, the tennis shoes. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Now, the other thing is, how many of you have had energetic capacities your entire lives with something? Either you had awareness of things or you could see when people were going to die. Like, I worked with a lady the other day and she's like, yeah, I don't want to have my capacities. I'm like, really, what are your capacities? She said, I know when people are going to die. And I was like, wow, can you kill them too? Because I have a list. She's like, no. But she had talked to a family member. She knew that her aunt was going to die. Okay? And she was going to die within a few months. And she said something to her mom. She's like, Mom, about her aunt dying. And then her family made her wrong as though she had killed her aunt. I was like, oh my God. So how many of you have been made wrong for these energetic capacities and awarenesses you have by people who just did not understand? Everything that is, and everywhere you've turned them down because you were made wrong for being who you are and having the awareness that you have, which is actually like a really cool awareness. We destroyed and created, please. Times a gazillion, right? Rung about all 9, pod, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay. So you guys, would you guys like to work together? Yes? We said that? Yes? Okay, cool. So find a partner, grab someone, have them grab you, Not in a weird way, unless you both agree to it. That's fine. Okay, no problem. And then if you're doing something really weird and kinky, could you make sure we have a video camera focused on you? Because why not? I'm taking this class to a whole other level, kids. Okay, my darling. Whew. Little bright out here. You can have a seat when you're ready, okay? Okay. I'll try not to blind you in the meantime. You can just do it here at the chairs. It's not going to be a big thing. Just turn left, turn right, find somebody. We're going to make it very simple and easy. Just do it here in the chairs. Wherever you're sitting is fine. Just find somebody close to you. Somebody that you like enough to, Okay. Does everybody have somebody? Is there anybody who's missing a partner? We have one there and there. There you go. Is there anybody else missing a partner? Goga? Who's missing? Missing a partner? Cool. Anybody else missing a partner? Okay. You guys good? Goga and the blonde lady back there? There you go. Cool. Okay. Anybody else missing a partner that wants one? I like how people are pointing at other people. They don't have anybody. Well, what a bummer. Somebody back there? Lady in white? Gentleman in the orange, are you looking for someone? There we go. Okay, cool. Okay. So if you tap into her world, and does she feel any different to you?
Yeah. Yes.
So you can. Hello. How you doing? She looks different. She looks sexy. I like it. That was good. What she meant was sexier. Yeah, sexier. Okay, good. See, but what you can do is by contributing energy to somebody with no point of view and no judgment, you can literally change how they are in their world, which is kind of cool. Because we thought we had to like figure out all their problems and figure out all their stuff and whatever, but not necessarily. Being with them within a space of no judgment more than anything else can change their whole world, okay? How many of you have one person in your life that doesn't judge you and doesn't think you should be any different than you are right now?
One.
At least one. Almost one. Okay. So it's interesting. It's like, what's it like being with that person? Isn't it awesome? Yeah. It's like when you're around them for just a few minutes, it feels like the weight of the world comes off of your shoulders and you can breathe again. Like you're not wrong for being. Well, so what you want to do before you work on the person you're working on is you want to lower all of your walls, all of your barriers, all of your judgments, and all of your points of view. Okay? And what you want to do is you want to look at them and see them as this beautiful being they may or may not be willing to see themselves as in the moment. Okay? Now, we're going to do some real simple energetic stuff, okay? She's going to be walking around harassing people, contributing to people. Maybe you guys can do a little threesome kind of thing there. You and gentleman in red and Linda over there. Okay? Cool. Thanks, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Can we give her a hand, please? Yay! Cool. Okay. So what you're going to do is basically the similar thing to what we just did on your arm, except you're going to do it on there. So figure out who's going to go first. Okay, one of you go first. And just have them put their hand out like this, and you just run your hand over it really slowly. So one person is receiving, one person is gifting. Unless you're having a threesome, then that's weird, kinky shit. Okay, now if you're receiving, do you notice something? Now the weird part is you may not even notice it on your arm or your hand. As they're doing this, you may notice your heart open up. Or something that used to be in your neck that was tight starts letting go. Okay, another moment. Now go ahead and do the other arm. And if you notice, you may notice you feel one arm more than the other. And you're not really trying to do anything. You're just noticing what you notice. Now, if you're at home, alone, go ahead and do it to yourself. Okay, another few seconds. Okay, cool. I'm going to now switch. So if they were doing it to you, you do it with them now? Okay. And if you're receiving, just notice what you notice. You can close your eyes if that feels right. Now, some of you will get really bored if you go really slow. See what you notice, because you can go a little faster if you want. The reason I'm having you go slowly to start is because it gives you a different sense and an awareness. Okay. What? It was good? Awesome. Cool. Awesome. Okay, and now you can go ahead and switch hands or switch arms, switch sides, whatever. Awesome. Now, if you'd like to increase the energy, just ask. And maybe ask, where can I pull energy from in the universe that will increase it? So you just ask. If you want the energy to increase, you just ask. Okay, another few moments with that. Okay, you can stop now. Okay, so how was that? Interesting? Cool? Cool. Now, some of you, now sometimes what'll happen is you go to touch somebody and they're, meh, go away. So what you might want to do is either not touch them, okay, or how can you modulate your energy and shift your energy so that they feel safe letting you in? Okay? How can you modulate your energy or shift your energy so they feel safe letting you in? Because you want to realize it's like there's been a lot of very unkind touch that our bodies have received in this lifetime. From the time we were little kids, you know, we were spanked, we were abused, you know, as little kids. We grew up, we were abused, we were, you know, there's all kinds of mean things that have been done with touch. So people and their bodies remember that, and they would rather keep everything out than experience that again. Does that make sense? Okay. And the other thing you want to recognize is, it's like, well, okay, so that's one. And that, if you recognize that somebody's got a keep out sign up, you know, they're like keep out, just recognize it, just acknowledge it, and ask if you can modulate or shift your energy in order to change it. And if you can, go ahead and do that. And if you can't, don't worry about it. Don't make them wrong. Don't make you wrong. Nobody's wrong here. Okay? What occurred was they had things happen in their life. They made choices to try to avoid that, and that's where they're at right now. No problem. Having said that, if there's a way in which you can modulate your energy or shift it that will allow them to let you in, you may be the gift they've been looking for in their whole life in that moment. If you can truly be with them in that space of no judgment and have your hands on them and just, you put your hands on them and it's like, hi, I'm here. I know there's been a lot of crap that's happened to you and a lot of it was unkind. I'm here. Hi. It's really like, hi. You may shift their entire world with a touch. I've seen this happen too many times to count. You may shift their entire world with a touch. And so you want to recognize that because we're so energetically aware, one of the things that we have this amazing capacity to do and then pick up on and deliver, we have this amazing capacity to pick up on people's judgments of themselves and then deliver that to them. Okay? So if somebody has a judgment of themselves like, wow, anything, okay? Any judgment they might have of themselves, you'll pick it up energetically and then you'll try to feel that way about the person. So if somebody has a judgment of themselves, oh, I'm stupid, I don't get this. What you'll do is you'll think, oh my God, you don't get this. Well, is that really your point of view? Or is that the judgment they have of themselves that they're expecting you to have? And when they expect you to have it, guess what you do? You have it. You're like, oh my God, why don't you get this? In your mind, even though you don't say it because you're polite. Okay, but in your mind, you have that. Now, if you instead lower all of your walls and barriers and go puck and pod all the judgments and all the projections and all the expectations, mine and theirs and anybody else's. Now it's like, hi. And you go, yeah, but I don't get it. It's like, or if they're sitting there in their world going, I don't get it, now it doesn't matter. Now you're like, hi. And they're in their world, they're like, I don't get it. And you go, oh, I know, sweetie, I get you, sweet being, that you think you don't get it. I totally understand. I thought I didn't get it too. But guess what? Let's see. Hi. Does that make sense? Can I borrow you for a moment? Come on up, Mandarla. Hi. Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure for me.
It's a pleasure for me too.
Yes.
Thank you. So, how do you feel about this energy stuff?
How do
And
you
who's translating? What language are we speaking?
good? See, yes.
Italian. Que cazzo vuoi? No, just kidding.
No.
I have a mic here.
It's good. It's good.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes,
So she says it's good.
Yes.
So now, if you are going to work with her, right? I don't think you're on. Okay, if you're going to work with her, so what happens is you walk up to this person. So if you're going to work with her, you walk up to this person and you get a sense energetically of how they are, right? Okay, and we'll do this and I'll show you how this works. So here she is. We have Elizabeth, sweetheart, right? And she's kind of like, hi, ciao, you know? And that's pretty much her point of view. Hi, ciao. And I'm like, okay, so how do you feel about doing this work? How do you feel about what we just did? Like working with people energetically?
Easy.
Easy.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So she's like, it's easy, no problem. So if I'm going to work with her, and I'm going to have her work on me, face me, please. Okay, if I'm going to have her work on me, well, let's do first. If I'm going to work on her, I come up, and does she have any barriers up? No. She's just like, hi, easy, hi. You know, really simple. And is she got any, does she really have any point of view about she's wrong, I'm wrong, this is wrong? No, not so much, right? So it's just like, hi. Now, so if I'm going to work on her, there's not really much other than, hi, is it okay if I work on you?
No problem.
No problem. That's basically her point of view in the world. No problem. No problem. Okay? Cool. So now here's the thing is, if you're somebody who's been in a lot of judgment of you, and you've been sort of like made wrong your whole life, and people don't seem to like you and you don't seem to like yourself, hopefully that's not the case, but it is for a lot of people. Having somebody like this just touch you, just being present with you, like, hi, could change your whole world. Does that make sense? Like, wow, hi, okay, cool. And so like if I wanted to, you know, like one of the other things that you can do is so you practice with this and see just what you notice, whatever you notice when you're working on somebody. And then what you can do is go to different parts of the body and you'll notice somewhere their body wants you. Their body will be like, here, please. And you're like, okay. Or what'll happen is you'll be like this and you'll just put your hand here and you're like, wow, why is my hand over your boobs? I don't know. I mean, over your heart. That's what I mean. My hand is over your heart. It's not over your boobs, is it? No, it's over your heart. Thank you very much. Okay. But your hand will go wherever their body requires it, or wherever they, the being, require it. Okay? But if you just start by, so we did this thing of sort of playing and just seeing what we noticed. And let me tell you something, for me, a lot of times I don't notice much feeling in my hands when I'm working. So if I'm working on her, I don't go, ooh, I got chills. Wow, my hands are getting hot. Wow, this is, oh my goodness. I don't have that in my hands. I have an awareness of what's going on with my knowing. Okay, knowing is instant, and it's infinitely changeable. So what happens is when you go to work with somebody like this, if you're not somebody who feels things in your hands as much as you do with your awareness, you'll just know, oh, hi, nice to see you, nice to see you, nice to see you. Oh my goodness, do I need to be here right now? Does that make sense? So everything you've done to make you wrong because you don't get chills, and you don't see things, and you don't get like colors, and you don't feel fire and all that sort of thing, will you destroy it and create it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and rounds. Not that that's ever gone on for her. She's probably never made herself wrong. Okay? Okay, now you get to work on me. Now hold on. Did you notice things change? I'm in work mode. She's like, shit. Okay.
No.
For a moment, she went like this, right? And then she went, oh, I don't have to be that way. Does that make sense? Okay. So.
Can I try?
Yes, please.
Can I use 2 hands?
Yes, please. It's her fault.
Here. Here. Yes. Here. That's good. That's easy.
Now, she could be working there for a very long time. Because what she's actually tapping into is me tapping into everybody else in this particular instance. So she could be there for a long, long time, okay? Thank you.
Sorry.
Oh, no, no. God, wow. Is that as beautiful to all of you as it was receiving? And did you notice how things shifted in my world? From her just, hi. It's like, and you know, when I started giggling, it was like the world just became so much more beautiful all of a sudden. You know, it was just like, thank you. Thank you. That was just really cool. So now what I'd like you to do is, if there's so much to talk about, which is why, you know, the classes where we start getting a lot more into this and actually how to change energies and things, the ESB and the SOP. The ESB is 3 days and the SOP is 4 days. Okay, so it's like, so there's a lot to talk about, right? Because there's so many different aspects of this and how you can change things easily, and also how you can not be the effect of things, but also all kinds of pieces of your awareness that start to fall into place to make it easier. But so for tonight, for the next thing, what I'd like you to do is do okay, sorry, I'm because for me, there's always, it's like this or this or this, like what will create the most for all of you? So for right now, what I'd like you to do is to go ahead and keep the same partners, if that works for you, and do kind of like she did, where, and you can move your hands anywhere above the body, but move them to where it feels like their body's asking you to be. And just stay there for as long as you want, and as close to the body or as far off of the body. And it may be that you're there for just a few seconds and then your hands move. Okay, we're just going to take a few minutes and play with this. So just probably you'll use both hands, maybe one. Okay, so go ahead and start. And if you're the one doing it, all of the points of view about anything, will you just run and create it all, please? Times a gazillion, right? Roundabout all 9, pod, poc, shorts, boys and beyonds. And if you're the one receiving it, all the points of view that you think you're supposed to have about anything, just run and create it. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all 9, shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, and there's no wrong way. And if you're receiving, maybe it's easier if you close your eyes. Not sure, but maybe. And if you're at home watching, imagine, if you're at home alone watching, imagine you're working on someone that you care about. And now Tinkerbell will take you to a happy place. Okay, and if you're working with someone, like, be really present with them. Just say, hi, I'm here. We may or may not do anything energetically, but I am here with you and for you. Okay, another 30 seconds. Another 10 seconds. Right about there. Okay. How was that? You may want to hug and say thank you, and then switch. And you can go ahead and switch. Same partners, just switch the gifter and the receiver. And if you're receiving, it may work easier if you close your eyes. And if you're, wow. You don't need any coaching from me. And also realize if you're gifting, you're going to probably be aware of a lot of the points of view in their world. And you'll just think they're yours, but they're not. Oh, and if you're home and alone, imagine one of us working on you. Okay, another minute. 15 more seconds. Okay. Alrighty then. How was that? Cool. That was very cool. Somebody watching in the US, part of our live stream team, said the beauty and peace coming through the live stream. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I don't know about you, but it feels that way to me too. Wow. That's cool. Whoa! Wow! That's awesome! Yay, us! That's just, wow. And so also it's like, I mean, once again, if you did nothing else other than lower your barriers and just be there with someone, your hand's nowhere to go, strangely. And I know, you know, there's always a way we find to judge us at some point for something, you know, like, oh, but my hand went this way and it should have gone that way, you know. But really, notice how there's sort of an ease if you're just there with the person. And the shift that it creates in their world, my goodness, I mean, think about it. How much of our lives have we been longing for somebody to connect with us? And let us, and just be there with us, you know? And just be there like, hi. Hi, beautiful. Hi. And what happens is all the monkeys you've been carrying on your back that are, you know, the wrongness of you and the stupidity and the judgments, it just goes. Now, the beauty of it is you start to get more aware of and get to use and play with these more, then you can create specific changes that are long lasting. It's really friggin' cool. I can think of almost nothing funner to do personally. It is just such a beautiful gift to see what you guys just went, yep, boom. Just, man. gives me some interesting sense of hope, you know? Like for us to be able to be this with a far easier way in the world. And what you'll find is there will be lots of people who will be so grateful to receive it. There will be people who won't. But if you didn't have to change you as a result of the people that won't, how much more wonderful could life get? And then it could be whatever this is for the people that will receive it. So it's like in the, in the ESB and the SOP, the range of energies that you get exposed to and the choice to be it is kind of off the charts. And in the SOP, you do this. Actually, the ESB is going to start to have a component like this in it now, I realize, which is really cool. No, people react differently all the time. Some people flop on the table, some people don't flop at all. And sometimes people flop and then next time they don't. But that's not, see, for me, doing it, whether you flop or not is not the point. It's like, it's the change that's going on in your world that is far more the valuable product to me. There was a question about, can I talk more about modulating your energy? Yeah, it's like, let's say you're working with somebody who has been highly abused and they're like this. Well, would you be different with them than you would be with a big burly man? Yeah, right? And maybe not as different as you think based on, but what you do is, so somebody who's kind of caved in and timid, what you do is you need to really lower your barriers and open up even more space for them to know, number one, that they're taken care of, but also to know that they're not wrong. And so what you do in that case is you modulate your energy so that there's not an ounce of anything that would be seen as making them wrong in their world. Because if you do, they'll shut down again. And it's something that you'll do naturally when you're around people. Yeah, but once again, that's part of the value of being around all these different energies and experiencing the different things. I was going to try to show you that, but I don't think it's actually going to work tonight given what we just did. Because what's happened is there's been this, so it's a totally different conversation. Yes?
Well, I just want to say with the modulation of the energy, it's also nearly like you started co-creation. When you were with the Italian lady on stage, when you started to receive, you both modulated. So it became a co-creation, like a simultaneity of gifting and receiving, because you so clearly received, which allowed her to gift more, because it made you happy. And then you're like, oh, I can do this. So it's like, it's a two-part thing. It's not one person modulating, it's both.
Yeah, thank you for that. So that modulation is a two-part thing, number one. And one of is you start to do any of this work energetically, well, actually in any area of your life where you're working with people. One of the most challenging things that you'll find is when somebody doesn't give you feedback energetically, okay? Like when she worked on me, I was instant energetic feedback, right? Things are changing, I'm giggling, I'm letting her into my world, and my world is getting greater as a result of having her contribute. It was clearly obvious energetically, yes? You noticed? Okay. And then for her then, she notices, oh my gosh, I'm doing something, yay, and then you want to keep doing more. You know what I mean? But what a lot of people have been taught is don't let anybody know what you're feeling. Hide your feelings. So if you're really happy about something, here's what you show. If you're really pissed off, here's what you show. And go, so what you want to do on the one hand is get the awareness that this person may not know how to give you energetic feedback, and they may still be receiving it anyway, okay? And number two, the person that does give you the energetic feedback and receives like that is going to be this great gift to you because it will show you what you're truly doing and what you're truly capable of. Well, if you're doing it for the person that receives and gives you the energetic feedback, doesn't it make sense you're still doing it for the person that doesn't receive and doesn't give you the energetic feedback? They just don't know how to tell you? Does that make sense? This is getting into the stuff we talk about in the other classes, but just recognize that the person that receives and gives you the energetic feedback is a great gift. And they're part of what can acknowledge you for what you're actually able to do. Now, this applies not just in this energetic realm that we're talking about. It applies in every realm. I mean, if you write a great book and you give it to somebody that you think is going to receive it without asking a question, and they tell you how bad your book is, and they return it to you marked up with all of the grammatical errors that they fixed, are they really receiving the gift that you just gave them? Not at all. But that's where you want to ask the question, will they actually receive this? And so if you're going to do any kind of work like this, you want to do your best to work with people who will actually receive it. Now tonight, you got to work with the person sitting next to you. But it turned out kind of cool, didn't it? It's weird. It's almost like the universe works or something. It's awesome. Yes?
Hi, I saw that we have now the course, Test of Being, and then the facilitator's course.
Yes.
So if we do the ESB and the SOP, and we learn how to do this body work,
Yes.
what is the program for these other courses? I mean, the Test of
Say
Being
that
one.
if we do the ESB and SOP and learn to do this, what?
No, I would like to know which is the program for the Test of Being course.
To do the Taste of Being You, we're just starting the Being You Certified Facilitator program?
Yeah, the beginning and then the...
You just have to have done you have to be a certified facilitator. Wow. And you have to have done 2 Being You classes. Okay? To be a Being You Certified Facilitator. A BYCF. I love the acronyms we have. I can't remember any of them, but that's okay. Brand new. It's first time we'll be in Florence after the facilitators class. Yeah, I'm excited because I'd like people, because every single person has a gift that they offer by their very being. And to have people who can go and do these Taste of Being adventures, and they also will get to facilitate a one-day class. I'm really excited. I'm thrilled because I'd like to see other people have the gift of sharing the being that they are with people yes. Okay. Yes.
Was braucht man, um den SOP zu machen?
What are the prerequisites for the SOP?
You already have them. Prerequisites for the SOP are a COP, and an ESB. So by 2 days from now, you'll have them. Okay? And in the SOP is where we work on, a huge amount of the time is spent actually working on each other and increasing the capacities that you have to play with the symphony of the universe. One of the very interesting awarenesses that Gary and I got very recently, we were facilitating the sex and relationship class in Houston recently. And one of the things that we were talking about was this thing that we call the 7 fountains of orgasm, which is a way that you be with a body and you turn it on, and you do it with sex, and you turn it on and the intensity increases, and then it sort of plateaus, and then you increase it again and increase it again and increase it again. But each time it's not this like increase, 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 increase. It's like having sex with a rabid monkey. But, oh my. But it increases and then expands, and increases and then expands, and increases and then expands. And if you do this roughly about 7 times, you'll have an orgasm that will go throughout your entire body and your world, really. And what we realized was this ESB energy, this way of working with bodies, is integral to being able to create that. And Gary looked at me, we were up there facilitating, we're talking about this idea of this thing, the 7 fountains of orgasm we were talking about. And he gets this look on his face, I'm like, what? You know, he looks like he's just been shocked. You know, he's like, and I'm like, what? He went, what people are getting with the ESB is this way of being with bodies that allows them to actually create this 7 fountains of orgasm thing that most people don't realize exists, but also a way of actually being creative and generative in their bodies so that their bodies have a constant source of energy available. And I was like, holy shit, wow. And then I looked at it, and I looked at the difference between the people that have been in Access. Like, you get bars, which shows you, you know, it starts opening up you and your body to receiving. Just that makes you a far softer person, softer in the sense of receiving more in the world without a point of view. Well, and then you learn body processes, and you can learn the ESB and the SOP. And what happens is, out there in the world, you start having the ability to create change in every area in which you interact with people, including their bodies. And not only that, if you happen to like bodies or sex at all, the possibilities that you can, of the energy that you can be having sex, holy motherfucking shit. What is available? Wow. It's like with the capacity for these energies, because part of the energy is actually orgasmic. And you'll notice, like, when she was here with her hands over me, I was like, well, joy should be part of orgasm. It's been missing a lot, kids. You know what I mean? Hardly anybody does it from there. But the more you open up to this, the more that will be an available energy for you and your body too. Imagine the joy of orgasm. Apparently we have something we need to create on the joy of orgasm. But I just realized it's like, and this stuff that we're opening up to is who we naturally are, that we shoved to the side a long time ago. Well, it's time to bring it back. You know, it's time to be the us that has these energetic capacities, that can be this contribution, that can be this receiving from people, that can be this gift to people in the world. So, any other questions? Cool. Yes. Microphone, please.
You said earlier that sometimes you go into a room and you feel that people are very low energetically or caved in, or and doing what you started to teach us to do, you don't have to either avoid them or go there and be like that.
Yeah.
So what we did, what we've just done, I can see how I could change the energy like this, but I'm not going to go into a room and start doing that around people. So what would you suggest?
Why not?
Because...
Can you see her going into a board meeting with people like this, and she's like... There's 20 of them, you know, and she's like, hold on, I'll get to you. Just, okay, you know. Would you guys be willing to try something? I don't know if we can do it, but will you try something with me? Yeah. Okay, come up here, please. Bring the microphone. Okay, what's your name?
It's Nahin.
Ismahen?
Ismahen, yes.
Ismahen, cool name. Awesome, nice to meet you. Okay, for a moment, I want you to be bored people. Imagine you're constipated. And you just are angry and pissed off for a minute. Okay? Try it. I know it's not going to be easy right now. You're like, no. Just try it. It'll be fun. You'll see. Okay. So what you want to do is like try to put up every wall and barrier you can for a moment. Do you realize it sort of worked, but not really? You're like, okay, people, you're not doing a very good job of acting like everybody else on the planet, okay? I'm sorry. Okay. Well, will you try it one more time? Put a little more chutzpah into it, a little more intensity. Kick your face. There, okay. This is awesome. It's fun to watch too. Okay. That didn't work at all. Let me tell you what you would do, okay? Here's the way it works. Okay, you can let all that shit go. Thank you very... Oh. But this is a great exercise, okay? Because when you feel like that now, guess who it is? Not you. Okay? If you feel... If you feel constipated and pissed off, it's not you. Even when I asked you to do it, you're like, I can't, I'm too happy, shut up. Okay, so good awareness to have. If you walk in, there's these things that we teach in, I think, Foundation, right? Energy flows? Yes. Okay, and this is really great information to have. But what happens is, if you walk into a room full of people that are, what happens is they have their walls and barriers up. And a lot of times they have their walls and barriers up to each other and everybody else, right? What you do is, when somebody has their walls up, all you do is you pull energy from them. Okay? So the wall is here. Okay, go ahead and construct a wall. I dare you. Go ahead. I know you're like, constipated, angry, pissed off. It's not working, is it? It's just like... But that's the thing. After doing the stuff that we just did, trying to go back into a world that's separate from everybody else, filled with walls and barriers? Seriously? You're like, no, I'm not going to do it. Sorry. Okay, so I can do this. Okay, so I'm going to erect a wall for a moment, okay? And what I'm going to ask you to do is pull energy from behind me, through the wall and the barrier, through you, okay? But not until I tell you to, because I have to put the thing up, otherwise you'll pull it right down.
But it's all in my head.
You just ask. Yeah,
all right.
You just ask. Here, let me show you. I'll start doing it right now with you. Okay, that's the flow, okay? How you doing? Getting turned on a little? Huh? A little bit? Huh? A little bit? Hey? Okay, now notice what happened. She kind of looked like this, right? But that's what happens when you pull energy from people. That's what they do. They're like, and they don't even know why. They're like, okay? Like if you look at Madonna when she was actually like really into performing, okay? Not current day Madonna who doesn't care because she's got enough rental children and all that. Well, anyway, everything that brought up, right, wrong, good, bad, 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 like, but Madonna performing at her heyday, look at the direction of energy. Did it go from the audience to Madonna? Or did it, what most people think is it goes from Madonna to the audience, right? The performer to the audience. That's why you feel energized when you go to a concert that's really good. If you look at the energy flow, did it go from her to them or from them to her? Went from them to her. You know why? Because she, as so many famous people, pull massive amounts of energy. I mean, you know, I love the way Gary says it. He's like, she pulls so much energy, she could suck the chrome off of a 1958 Buick that's still in 1958, okay? Because she pulls so much energy. Well, a lot of famous people do that. And what you'll notice is they pull massive amounts of energy, they become famous, and then they marry somebody and stop. Why? Because now they don't need to pull energy from everybody else anymore. Now they have their one. You ever notice how this happens, right? So a lot of times you'll see famous people who are doing a great job and then they just disappear. Why? They stop pulling energy, so nobody looks at them anymore. Nobody's thinking of them anymore. Nobody needs them anymore. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if you go into any situation where people have barriers up, boardroom, you're performing, whatever, pull energy like crazy, like I just started doing from you again right now. Okay? Pull energy like crazy. Pull energy like crazy. Pull energy like crazy, and all their walls and barriers will come down. Now, as I started pulling energy from you, did you notice kind of like I became a little bit more interesting? Huh? And the other thing is, not only will they become more interesting, you become more interesting and they'll be more interested in you, but they'll also be like, oh my gosh, I really like you. I really like you. I like you. And somebody will ask them, well, why do you like them? I don't know, I just like them. That's what happens when you pull energy. Okay? So I'm going to try to put up a wall. Wish me luck. Okay. 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 Okay, good. Now, pull energy from behind me. Through you. More. And the wall is now gone. Wow. And we're back together again. How you doing?
Good.
Do you come here often? Have you?
As often as you want.
Like whatever you want, no problem. Yes. Cool. Can we give her a hand? Thank you. So that's a really cool capacity to have. Okay, this pulling energy thing, and it's one of the things that Gary talked about when I first came to Access, and I'm like, this is friggin' brilliant. And what he did with me, okay, because we started working together, and he's like, look, he's like, you need to be to where you're willing to have people look at you, because for me, whenever people would look at me, I'd be like, you know, I was like, no. And he said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Starbucks. And I'm like, really? Okay. And so we went to Starbucks, and we stood there, and he had me stand there at the door, pulling energy until every single person in the Starbucks looked at me. Okay? And so I practiced pulling energy. And once I did that, I could do it at different places and pull energy, and realize what it did was it dissolved the barriers that other people had to us communicating. Okay? There's a few other energy flows, you get those in Foundation, but if you just take this one home for tonight, it can be a really big one. So let me talk about one of the other energy flows before we go, because it really helps you get the point. What happens with a lot of guys when they're interested in a woman, what do? Push. Oh my God, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Do you want to come home with me tonight? Oh my God, do you know what? You are awesome. You are gorgeous. Hey, how you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Want to get together? Want to get together? Want to get together? And what does the woman do? Ah! Right? Yeah, because when somebody's pushing energy at you, what do? Ah! Gentlemen. Your dating secret weapon. Ladies, it won't work for you, but it will work for the guys. Just kidding. I have to make them feel like they're getting a tool that only they can use. Makes us feel special. All right, we need this. Okay. So what you do is, instead of pushing energy, pull energy. Pull energy like crazy. If you see a woman you're attracted to, rather than going, yes, I must have you, and dive between your legs. Don't do that. Women don't like that. It's different wiring. Okay. What you want to do is you want to pull energy instead. Pull energy, pull energy, pull energy, pull energy, pull energy, pull energy. Don't ever push. Because when you push, it feels like an attack. It feels like somebody skewering you. And nobody likes that. Okay? The only time you want to push energy is when you want somebody to go away. Okay? That's the only time you want to push energy. So if, you know, I don't know, somebody's trying to steal your groceries or something. That was a weird example, wasn't it? Okay. I can't even think of an example when you do it, you know, except when you want somebody to go away. So when they're trying to steal your groceries, you go, yeah! And they go, oh no! And they run away. Okay? So, gentlemen and ladies, if you will pull energy from somebody you're attracted to, they will do like she did and go energetically. Okay? And it's a great thing because what it does is it lowers the walls. And then if there's a communication, something that can be had, now there are no walls and barriers to the communication. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Can you push energy to take your prime minister?
Can you push energy at your prime minister to get him to leave?
Then we do all Access in Israel. We do it together.
Well, yeah, but you have a little bit of a fixed point of view there.
Huh?
You have a little bit of a fixed point of view. You're a little vested in the outcome. And if you do it from being vested in the outcome...
Vested in the outcome of if Trump is...
Yeah, but I was basically kidding. It was a joke.
So I'm not kidding. For us, it's...
Yeah, I know. But that's the thing is you can't be vested in the outcome. If you do, it will backfire. It will do the exact opposite of what you try to create.
I think it may be
There-
the same with the dating one.
What's that?
If you're very invested in the outcome with the dating...
Same thing, yeah.
may
Same thing.
backfire.
Anywhere you're vested in the outcome, usually you will get the opposite of the result you're trying to create.
That's what happened in Israel.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happens. So same thing with the dating. So it's like, what you want to do is go, wow. If we're talking about the dating part, you go, wow, they look really interesting. Pull energy, see if they're interesting by having a conversation with them. When you pull the energy, then they'll be willing to have a conversation with you. Does that make sense? Because I hate to say it, just because they look like they might be interesting doesn't mean they are interesting. Okay? Just going to point this out. I'm not going to go any further into that particular subject. Just be in your awareness, okay? Yes?
Just a question about this pulling energy thing. So you pull the energy from behind the person and then until your body or behind you?
Through you.
Through me?
Yep.
Okay.
Through them, through you.
Okay.
And it's not your energy, it's not their energy, it's the universe's energy. You're just pulling energy.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, and here's another thing. You think that when you pull energy from somebody, you're going to make them tired. Actually, it energizes them. It's interesting. So do me a favor, pull energy from me right now. Well, it's already starting. Wow, that was cool. Yeah, even more. Even more, more. I promise you will not kill me. I promise. Okay, now as you're turning it up, as you're asking for more, what's happening is my body's getting energized. There's like, you know how you get those chills sometimes in different parts? My body, like all through here is going, okay, cool. So that's what happens when you pull energy, actually the person gets energized. It's really cool. So there you go. So has tonight been a contribution to you? Anybody? Cool. Thanks everybody. How you doing? Thank you. Yay! Yay! That was awesome. And I really have to say, you guys are great. That was so friggin' cool watching you work on each other and perceiving the energy it was just like, yes, this is awesome. So consider yourself invited to anything else that I do, because I kind of like you. ESB gives you sort of a platform with all of these energies and your being. SOP, you start to work on people more and more and more, and get your capacities to actually work on people with my facilitation and a lot of other people in the room who are doing this stuff with you. And there's the Being You Changing the World class that is, well, it's a thing in its own also. So, and there's so much available. Come and play, you'll know when, you'll know how. You'll get an email after this class that'll invite you to the audio, and we'll have some information in there for you, especially if you're new, you'll get, and if it feels like fun, come and play. And thank you for being. What if you truly being you are the gift, the change, and the possibility this world requires? From what I've seen, you are. And thank you for being on the planet right now. I adore you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye! Hey! Woo! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Go have too much fun. Woo! Yay! Bye-bye! Yay! There's an announcement.
Thank you, everybody. Tomorrow morning we'll start, for those of you who are in the COP class, we will be starting at 9:30 tomorrow morning. And we do have the lunchtime ESCs with Dr. Dane here tomorrow, right? Tomorrow and the following day. We'd really appreciate it if you would just straighten up your chair, take your garbage with you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Yes, and anyone that had their COP manual in the room and can't find it anymore, it's at the back by the translations table. You'll come and pick it up.
And tomorrow we really are starting at 9:30.